Welcome back to Bluff City Magazine Podcast, where we sit down with change makers, entrepreneurs, civic leaders, and people that are influential right across Mid-South and Memphis, Tennessee. I am your esteemed host, Amanda Avery, and editor-in-chief of Bluff City Magazine. My mission is to preserve the stories beyond the title. Y'all make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified of our next amazing podcast. Today, I have the honor of sitting down with a man whose name carries weight far beyond the pulpit. He is a nationally celebrated theologian, preacher, pastor, and orator, and mentor whose ministry has impacted lives across the nation and all across generations. Today, we're going to be talking about the journey, the calling, and the cost of leadership, the lessons learned, the legacy being built, and what it means to celebrate 80 years of life while still walking boldly in purpose. Dr. Frank E. Ray is sitting beside me, y'all. Dr. Ray, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Y'all, I'm touched and blessed and highly favored. Y'all see this, don't you? Dr. Ray, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, Dr. Ray, before we get started to all of your acclaimed titles, you were born on a farm in Arlington, Tennessee with 18 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it's 18 of us in all.
Okay, what was that like with so many siblings?
Never a dull moment.
I'm sure. What were your fondest memories?
My fondest memories, I guess, was following my father around. He taught me how to shoot, how to hunt, how to plow, how to do mechanical work. He took me out of school when I was 8 years of age, and I had to spend the rest of the time on the farm working with him.
Okay, so did y'all have to farm to supply the community for things?
No, we farmed for us.
Okay.
Everything we had, we either grew it, we caught it, or we killed it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So when you think about, when I think about farming and shooting animals, what, like deer hunting, stuff like that?
Rabbit, possum, coon, squirrels.
So wait a minute.
Quails.
So for Saturday morning breakfast, did y'all have cooked rabbit with gravy and biscuits?
We would hope that a rabbit would jump in the yard. If he jumped in, he didn't jump out.
Listen, with some sorghum molasses.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we didn't have sorghum molasses, we made gravy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds really good. Yeah. Now, I know growing up, you love to sing and all of that. So now, did you have to listen to gospel? Did you have like some Motown and some Al Green and all that coming up?
No, I was, I just loved singing. They wouldn't let me sing. So whenever they finally gave me the mic, I wouldn't turn it loose. I would wear them out singing. I started that when I was about 18 years of age.
What's your favorite gospel song?
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite one.
Okay.
I don't think.
Well, are you more of a hymnal person or choir person?
I sing a number of songs. Move Upstairs is a song that I sing we've had maybe 11 million views on that one song. So that's the one that people listen to the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, come on, singer. We're going to add that to your list of titles.
Yeah.
So I also read, Dr. Ray, that growing up learning and reading was difficult for you.
Yeah.
But when did you realize that you lacked in one area, but God gifted you in another?
Yeah, when I knew the Lord had called me to preach. Prior to that, I didn't care anything about school nor church. I was actually allergic to school and church. Whenever mama would mention church, I'd break out in little bumps or what have you. And school, I did all I could to keep from going to school. But after the Lord, I knew the Lord had called me. I knew at the age of 20 that the Lord had called me to preach. And so it was then that I started preparing myself. I took a little New Testament Bible and I kept it with me from the age of 20 until this present time. I always made sure I had the word with me wherever I went.
So was there a sign or a feeling when you knew that God called you to preach?
It was. I fell in love with preaching. The church that I was a member of just had service twice a month on the second and fourth Sunday. I would go to other churches on the first and third. I'd go at night and go in the evening. Wherever I could find a worship service, I was there.
You was drawn at an early age.
Yeah, at an early age, I was. Yeah.
So you were called to preach. You knew you were called to preach. And at the age of 25,
Yeah, that's when I accepted my call.
You accepted your calling.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, you got a church.
That's right. They called me the pastor. Yeah. And been there ever since.
I love that. I love that. Now most people are not that, I guess, fortunate to have a church right after their calling.
Yeah.
So what did that feel like to you?
Well, one of the things that led to that was my faithfulness and commitment to my pastor. He did once 16 revivals, 5-night revivals, back to back, 16 weeks straight. I missed only one night in the 16 weeks. And then when I preached my first sermon, that was over 200 pastors that came to hear me preach. And when I got through preaching, they immediately invited me to come preach for them. And in 3 months, I had preached 33 sermons. And then the church called me for pastor. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Now, how does your pastor feel when he gave you his blessings?
I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. Sometimes when young pastors are under, a covering, the first thing we want to do is try to get a little bit experience and then kind of jump out there.
Yeah.
What would you say speaking to young pastors who, under leadership, but they're not really ready?
Yeah. Well, my pastor told me that when they called me to be the pastor, he was the first call I made. And he said to me 2 things. He said, if I was you, I wouldn't accept it. And number 2, and I said, can you tell me why? He said, number 1, there's nobody there. They didn't have about 35 members, something like that about. He said, and secondly, they ain't gonna do nothing but hurt you. He was right in both. They hurted me and wasn't nobody there. But the Lord had revealed to me that I should accept it. And so I did.
That is 55 years ago.
Yeah.
Was there ever a moment early in your ministry where you thought, Lord, I know you didn't pick the right one. You didn't pick the right one. You could not have.
That's why it took me 5 years to accept it, because I wrestled with God for 5 years. And I started going around to people telling jokes, making them laugh and making them happy. And I was the most miserable person in the room, because I knew what God had called me to do. And so I wrestled with that for 5 years.
Come on, Jacob.
Until a lady named Dorothy Sawyer, she stood and sung in the choir, second Sunday in September 1971. She said, if the Lord wants somebody, here am I, send me. And I couldn't handle it after that. I got up that Sunday and acknowledged my call.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
And you still remember that to this day.
Yes.
Out of your 55 years, I know one word that comes to describes you or what you like to do, that is serve. So what does real service look like from a senior pastor?
When you're committed to the Lord, you look to be able to serve. That's your DNA. If you cut me open, service would come out of my veins, because that's what I want to do. That's what I try to do. I believe that every pastor should have 3 people in his life: a Paul, a Barnabas, and a Timothy.
Okay.
Paul is the person that has been where you're trying to go. You need to hook up with him. Barnabas is the person that will tell you the truth, be honest with you, even if it hurts you. Timothy is the person coming behind you.
Okay.
I'm cognizant of the fact that I needed a Paul, so I put a Paul in my life. Dr. A. Lewis Patterson was my Paul. Then you need a Barnabas. I need a Barnabas to tell me, even if it hurt me. His name was W.M. Fields Jr. He would tell me every time I get through preaching, I'd go off the radio, he would take my sermon and destroy it. And you need a Timothy, somebody coming on behind you that's watching what you're doing.
And if you have those 3 people, what do you feel that makes you?
It keep you prepared.
Okay.
It keep you have to keep preparing yourself, because if you don't, nobody else will.
That's right. Yeah. So, many people see the preaching, the platform, and the honor, but they don't see the burden.
Yeah.
What has pastoring required of you that people may not really fully understand?
I think time. A pastor have to realize where his niche is. He can't be everything to everybody. God called him to be a pastor. He can't do well at politics and being a politician and things of that nature. He might want to, but that's not his call. There are too many others that can do that. And he can stick to what God called him to do, and that's to preach the gospel. He must eat, sleep, dream, walk, talk, preach it. Everything about him should be preaching.
Now, you've done that for 55 years, but also you've lost some things. You've lost some friendships. You've lost freedom to do some of the things you may love.
Yeah.
So that does come with a heavy cost.
Yeah, you have to decide if I'm going to prepare myself or if I'm going to go on the golf course and spend the day out there fouling a ball. What's the most important thing? I discovered that God honors the person that honors his son. That when you honor the Son of God, God the Father will honor you.
Mm-hmm.
And you honor him by giving him time.
You know, you're an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
So let's speak to the entrepreneurs. Now, we know pastoring has its own, path, but an entrepreneur that, what kind of advice can you give to them?
Number one, make sure God is first in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you set out to do. Make sure that you honor him first with some of the proceeds of what God has blessed you with.
Okay.
And when you do that, God honors that. And he opened windows of heaven and pour y'all blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have room enough to receive. But when you ignore God and think you can make it on your own, by yourself, then you destroy your future. I say to people all the time that when it comes to giving, as being a leader, entrepreneur, you should always remember to do three things. Number one, pay God your tithes, 10%. Mm-hmm. That's the first. Second, you take another 10% and invest it. You let it work for you.
Okay.
The third 10%, you take it and give it away. Because when you sow a seed, it comes back.
Okay, so that's 30%. So yes, 10, 10, 10.
10, 10, 10. And you should live off of 70%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's really good advice for those that are watching, that are entrepreneurs. Dr. Ray has just given us some nuggets of wisdom. 10, 10, 10. We love that.
Yes, sir.
So, Dr. Ray, you are nationally celebrated, as a theologian, an orator, and your ministry has just reached so many people.
Yeah.
When did you realize that your voice carries so much weight?
I started and I set out to try to get out in the public. I used to, when I first started preaching, I would record myself. I would put a reel-to-reel recorder on the podium, and I'd tie it around my neck. And I would record every sermon that I had. Had a friend named, that is my friend right now, Pastor Jasper Williams of Atlanta, Georgia. He said to me once when he was counseling me, he said, always write your sermons. Every sermon, write it. He said, secondly, record every sermon you preach, because you never know when God is going to move. Okay. And I've done that for so many years. I've written my sermon, I record it, and you never know when God is going to breathe on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what has happened in my ministry. As far as getting out, I started in third Sunday in August 1978. I went on radio. At 9:30 that morning, I preached a sermon, whatsoever your hand find to do it. That's what I preach. And I've been on radio and television ever since third Sunday in August 1978. I spreaded it, and we got on other radio stations across the country. We've been on BET. We've been on Inspirational Network. We've been on the Word Network. We've spread it. At one while, we was covering 80 million homes a week. Wow. That's a lot of homes.
Yes.
And it got out across, not just in the United States, but abroad, across the country. So that's what really put me out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Ray, you're so nationally recognized. What keeps you humble?
I know who gave it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel sorry for a person that get high-minded and think that you got it and you have the last word, because God can snatch it away from you whenever he get ready. And I've learned how to stay humble with whatever I do and not to take crisis personal. Mm-hmm. I use this illustration all the time that Harlem Nights movie, when this black guy was getting ready to fight this white guy. He walked up to him face to face, and he said,
Oh, yes.
he said, don't take this whipping
Personally.
Yeah. And so that's what you have to do in the ministry. You can't take licks personally. And whenever you get into trouble, because you will mess up, you're going to make some mistakes. You'll have some flaws and failures. I say to young preachers, never try to get mud off you when it's mud. Wait till it dry and it drops off.
Now, that's a word.
Yeah.
I think everything about you is a preaching moment, isn't it? Speaking of preaching moments, has there ever been a sermon, message, or moment where that particular sermon impacted so many lives at once? Because, you got a sharp memory, so I know you can remember.
Yeah. The sermon, what do I do next? Is a
What
sermon.
do I do next?
Yeah, 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, that's one that people listen to quite a bit. And then Psalms 23 is another one that people they rarely to hear those two sermons more than most of them.
Dr. Ray, how do you remember that?
Well, here again, I grew up from the age of 8 years of age until 18, working in the field. My father was old at the time. I was the oldest boy in the field or at the house. And so I had to come home to help Daddy farm to make a living. So I only got a chance to go to school 3 months out of a year for 10 of the 12 years that I went. And so I had to maintain whatever I learned in those 3 months to make it to the next grade. And so I developed that into my preaching skill.
That makes a lot of sense. So you have a really good memory based on having to remember just those 3 months.
Exactly.
That's the only time you was able to go to school.
Yeah, exactly. And what I do is I take every verse of scripture, allow it to serve as my manuscript. I never take a manuscript to the pulpit. I just get that scripture and I deal with it. And when I get through spending 40 hours doing research and dissecting that one verse, it is forever there.
So I can probably safely say you don't use AI to do any of your sermons.
No.
How do you feel about AI? Do you use AI at all?
I have used it several times. There are a few things. Matter of fact, it's a good tool.
Okay.
But you have to watch it because it will say things that you didn't ask it to say. I asked it the other day. I said, give me the scriptures in the Bible that contain 40 words. And then it shot it back to me. It gave me 15 or 20, but it added 2 verses together instead of one verse. I wanted one verse with 40 words. So you have to be careful when you ask it. You better go back and research.
Absolutely. And that would you say it will make a pastor, preacher lazy if they just rely on that solely and not do any research with maybe like some other materials?
When you, if you remember years ago, before we had cell phones, we remembered everybody's phone number. You remember mama's number, daddy's number. You remember the number for school. You knew the number for the fire department. You remember the store number. You remember the number at church. Now you don't remember no number because you put it in your phone, and which means that it calls you to be dumb instead of smart. It limits your capability.
Yeah, it really does because I can't remember not one number today.
Yeah.
Dr. Ray, let's talk about your leadership conference that you've held for the last 25 years, the Frankie Ray Conference.
Yeah.
What was the vision that sparked that?
I used to, second week of January, used to have my leaders conference. In March, I had a conference with my ushers. April was our church anniversary. May was our women's month. October was men's month. And so what I did was, instead of having all of those different days, I merged them all into one and started a conference to bring them all together. That was the purpose. And we kind of spread it out a little bit now, but that was the purpose of it. Secondly, many pastors cannot afford to bring in a preacher that is renowned and preach at the church. They can't, financially, they can't afford to do it. They want to do it, but they can't do it and treat him right. And so I said, let's come together. Since you all can't do it, I'll bring them all everybody you need that's going to bless your ministry, and then we'd pay them together. And so that's what we did.
Okay. Well, what does this year look like? 25 years, and what can attendees expect?
It looked wonderful. We have several outstanding preachers. I try to keep it as close to expository preaching as I possibly can. Expository preaching is different from any other preaching. There's what you call topical preaching, textual preaching, and expository preaching. Topical preaching is when you think of an idea and you go to the scripture to find a text to match your subject.
Okay.
What you normally do with that is eisegete the text instead of exegete. In other words, you read into the text your own belief instead of pulling from the text what the Holy Spirit have deposited into the text. That's why you can hear people use the same scripture and go totally different ways because they're reading to the text their own belief.
Okay.
Anytime you study the Bible, you bring baggage with you to the text. You come with preconceived ideas based upon stuff you heard. Sometime in songs, a lyrical song, you put it in there because it sounds good. But then there's textual teaching. Textual teaching is when you teach the text just like you see it sitting before you. Now, in textual teaching, there are over 300-400 different translations now. And you have to watch that because sometimes the translators will error. So you have to watch the textual teaching. The reason I do it is because I want to know how they got what they got. I won't just take it at face value. I'll take every word in that verse and do an extensive study on that word in the original language. See what it says in Hebrew, what it says in Greek. The part of speech it is. If it's a noun, is it a preposition, is it a verb, an adverb. If it is a verb, what kind of verb? Is it in an objective mood or whatever it is? I do an extensive study. That caused me to have to spend extra time studying because of what James 3:1 said. There's a greater damnation to them that teach the word. So when I teach it, I know that if I err, God is going to hold me accountable. But then the expository teaching deal with interpretation, investigation, and application. Interpretation to find out what the Bible is saying. Investigation to find out what it means. And an application to find out how you fit into the text. Because whenever you read the Bible, it's like standing in front of a mirror. And when you stand in front of a mirror, you don't see the person down the street. You see the one standing in front of the mirror. And so that's my approach.
Okay. Who's on the lineup for this year?
I have Terry Anderson from Houston, Texas, dear friend of mine, outstanding preacher, is going to be there. One of my sons in the ministry, Pastor Robert Jones, Pastor Kill Avenue at Hills Chapel. I love him. I thank God for him. And then Pastor Don Parson have always been my hero ever since I was just a little bitty fella. He's going to come. He was at the point of death, and God brought him back. So I got him coming. And then I have Tolan Morgan. Tolan is crisscrossing the country. People rush to hear him, want to see him, and hear him preach. He's there. And then I have what we call a preacher's rally that's going to close it out on that Thursday night. And then we have a lot of teachers that's going to be teaching various classes.
I love that. What's the cost?
I think it is $175 now. I think that's it.
That's for the whole entire week?
Yeah, for the whole week.
Okay.
Yeah, $175.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ray, let's talk about this glory road.
Okay.
Do you feel like it's really glorious? This glory road to retirement, do you feel like it's glorious?
I have been looking and visited and praying over this since I was 65 years of age. This is not something that just happened because of my love for the church and love for the people. New Salem is not just my church, they're my family. They have been with me through everything. They was there when I buried my father, when I buried my mother. They was there when I buried my sisters and brothers. When I got my doctorate degree, they were there. They came all the way to Georgia to be with me. Every crisis I've ever been in, they've been there. They're the wind beneath my wing. And so to say goodbye to that kind of relationship is certainly not easy. And so I'm crying privately without allowing them to see me crying. I try my best not to show any signs of it because I want Salem to make it and to go forward. and they're putting together an outstanding program and activities to bless me during these next 8 months. And I'm
that is going to be, as you say, so glorious.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Who is the oldest mother or deacon at your church?
Sister White. She is 93 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you have to go talk to her like one-on-one private, like, listen, mother, I got something I need to tell you?
Yeah, no, she got up and announced it 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
93.
93.
Yeah, 93.
Pastor Ray is 79 and 3/4 years old, because you'll be 80 in July.
July
That's
21st,
right.
yes.
What do you know now that the 25-year-old Pastor Ray could not have understood?
Love the members.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient with them. Stay in prayer. Prepare yourself. And remember that people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Mm-hmm.
When they discover how much you care, they're then interested in what you know.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my advice to any young pastor.
Gotcha. Now, Dr. Ray, when you went over to New Salem, now the chapel now was the original church.
No, we had the original church was on Tillman Street.
Okay.
It was on Tillman Street. I moved there in 1978. Matter of fact, I accepted a call the second Sunday in September 1971. It was that same day, the same hour, that New Salem stood that Sunday and voted to retire the former pastor.
Okay.
As he goes out, I comes in. And we stayed there from 72 until 78. In 78, we built the first building on Parkway. 83, we put an addition on the building. 84, we added another addition on the building. And then in 98, we moved into the building we're in now.
And since then, what have you kind of added on to kind of scale and make sure the members have all the amenities?
Yeah, well, we spent the time trying to pay for it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, listen, you have just built an amazing ministry, and I know this is humbling, but you're taking it so well.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
And as you look forward, I guess, to February, this is when the official retirement date. What do you want the people in your ministry to know when you get ready to say, not necessarily goodbye, but just the end of this assignment?
To know that I've done my best, that I've given it my best shot, and that I've led them into accepting another pastor as a leader, and for them to love him and to follow in his footsteps. That's what I want. I don't want them to say, when you gone, I'm gone. I don't want to hear that. Whenever a pastor leave and his church leave, he was not a good leader. You know, you have to train and teach them to stay with the ministry and do what God called them to do.
Amen to that. I love that. So, Dr. Ray, is there anything that I haven't asked that you want our viewers and readers to know just about your legacy? 55 years of preaching, you'll be 80 in July, and all that good stuff.
I am so grateful to the city of Memphis. I hear people say bad things about our city, but I would rather be in Memphis than any city on the planet, because they've been so kind to me. Everywhere I go, it is rare that I can walk into a restaurant and be able to pay for my own meal. Everywhere I go, somebody's going to pay for it. And they're going to show me all the kindness, the hospitality. I step on the plane, there's going to be 5 or 6 people rush up to me to take my picture.
Well, let's go to dinner after this. Let's see who will pay for our meal. It's going to be free.
They do it. And I've had mayors to pay for my dinner, city councilmen to pay for it, senators and congressmen, just all over the city. They've been so good and so kind to me. And I'm so grateful for how the city, not just my church, but how the city have been a blessing to me. And I appreciate everything
Yeah.
anyone has ever done.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to add that to my list when I see you out. Make sure I have some extra coins
Yes, ma'am.
so I can pay for your meal as well. Dr. Ray, would you like to do the honors of introducing the person you'll be passing the baton and mantle to next?
Okay. Listen, I am so grateful to have this young man to be a part of my life and part of my ministry. I had to pray mightily for the Lord to give me the right person to come. He has several qualities that I appreciate. Number one, he's a man of faith. And the Bible said, without faith, it is impossible to please him. Secondly, he's a family man. He loves his mother. He loves the rest of his family. He go out and do everything he can to make them comfortable. Thirdly, he's faithful. You can count on him. You don't have to look for him where he at. If he's going to show up for work, he's a faithful brother. And then fourthly, he's a friendly person. It's hard not to love him. He's going to do everything he can to make you comfortable and to make me comfortable. I appreciate him so much. And then fifthly, he's not caught up in finances. He's not the kind of guy that's greedy, looking for this and that right now. He's patient, and I appreciate him so much. And then six, he know how to bear fruit. He come, he produces. And so those are the things that I like about him and love him. I had watched him ever since he was a small fellow. I worked with his mother, and she came to work one day and said her stomach was hurting. And I said to her, "You're pregnant." And she ran out of the room, but she was pregnant, and it was Charles Bond. And so Lord brought him back around to me, and he's been with me ever since. And I'm honored and proud to have Dr. Charles Bonds.
Is he your Timothy?
Yes. He is my Timothy.
He's a Timothy?
Yes.
Okay, before we bring Dr. Bond on, Dr. Ray, I have one last question for you. What date is the big shindig so everybody can come out and participate and help celebrate you?
The gala will take place January the 22nd is the gala that we'll have at the Cook Convention Center. And the final celebration is going to be February the 7th at the church.
All right, Dr. Bond, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Now, I saw you just a few weeks ago or a couple months ago at K&G.
Yeah.
And I told you that me and my daughter talk about you kind of often because you were at our first Hope Fest for our church. And you were one of our speakers. And we just remember that sermon. And it just lived rent-free in our minds.
Wow.
You are somebody, ain't you?
I'm very humble.
Well, let me ask you this. So you were in Kansas City kind of when you got the call or knew when you were going to be coming back home.
Yes.
What was that? What did you know that you were going to be the successor? I mean, did you know prior to?
Well, that's kind of a difficult question to answer because I never wanted to put myself in a space. I always know that Pastor always taught us, whenever it's for you, the Lord will do the assignment. He's the one to give the assignment. It's a very humbling and honoring experience because, again, it's a legend. How do you follow a legend? How do you walk in the shadows of someone whose personality is bigger than life, but yet they have the perspicacity to walk humble amongst men? And so everything in my ministry, to answer your question, I've always wanted to pattern after him. He's my teacher. He's my model. He's my Paul. And so to have an opportunity to come back home and serve him, I'll tell on myself. There was always that little boy hoping and wishing to be close to daddy. And then there was a part of me that was like, nah, he has so many selections. So, anything I could do to see him win, when he win, I win. So that was always my mind.
Yes. How long you been a son in ministry under Dr. Ray?
Oh, God. Since 1996 is when I officially joined the church on the church's anniversary.
Okay.
And he had ministered to me in a very low place. And outside of that, though, since 1996 and now leading up, this is 2026. Wow, that's
29 years, almost 30 years.
Almost 30 years, yeah. Every church I've ever had, he's installed me in. Everything I saw him do, from run revivals to preach, if he would write books. And my mother never had more than an 8th grade education, but she always made sure we went to school.
Mm-hmm.
But because I saw my pastor do it, I felt I could do it.
Yeah.
And so he was a living epistle. His
Mm-hmm.
life has been a living epistle.
When you look to his 55-year legacy, what stands out to you the most?
His endurance. There are times when you don't have the stick-to-itiveness, sometimes because ministry can be very heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like you said earlier, you can't take it personal. You have to understand that you're dealing with God's people. And so anytime you're dealing with sheep, sometimes they'll bite you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gotten from him the longevity and the stick-to-itiveness. And although I'm only 52 years of age, he's been doing
only 52.
He's been doing this longer than I've been living. He's been doing this long. So, but the flip side of that is his inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a model to look toward.
Sure.
That if he could do it, then if I follow the model, I'll be able to have longevity as long as Jesus delay his coming and I'll go.
Okay. Do you think that you'll have maybe one of the older mothers come look at you sideways like, you ain't Dr. Ray, but I'm coming on Sunday morning, but you ain't Dr. Ray?
Oh, I get it every week.
Dr. Ray, you going to have a few members now going to be signed Dr. Bond every time you get up to preach.
Every week I get it, trust me. As a matter of fact, one of the ladies is interested when Pastor had the conversation and brought me on, and I call it the interview stage. One of the members on his pastoral team, because Pastor Ray is a man of prayer, so he did not do this overnight. He put time into this, because you got to understand this is his life's work.
Sure.
His whole body of work surrounds his ministry. So you don't put that in wobbly hands. Not that I'm so qualified, but whatever I don't have, I know he trusts the Lord to give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I look now, even one of the ladies who was on his team, she was honest with me. She just said, well, look, Pastor Bun, ain't nothing against your preaching. I think you're a great guy. She said, but I don't want another pastor. And this was on day one. And, I looked at her and said, baby, I don't want another one either.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would say.
And she was, and you have to appreciate her honesty.
Yeah.
Pastor Ray had married her and her husband, baptized all of her children, been there at every critical moment of her life since she was a teenager. You have to respect that. So part of this transition is me really, my heart, and I have to almost not get emotional over it. Because at night, I lay awake sometimes thinking about, man, is this really my life? Did he think? The Lord thinks so much of me.
Yeah.
But then him to think that much of me, because he had other choices.
Yeah.
And so for the Lord to put me in his spirit to be the person to take it on next, I try not to crowd it. I ask a lot of questions, but I have to know when to ask because, he's been bombarded with so many things from invitations. I go to the hospital to see members, and he's already been there. He's a pastor. He's a true shepherd. And so my work ethic, I want to try to outwork him. I know I can't, but I try to, because I want him to
get up at old dark 30.
Exactly. Just don't go to sleep. Just don't go to sleep at night. But I want him to know. People often ask me, I get this question a lot about, how's it going? And Doc has been phenomenal. The members have been wonderful, but he had the wisdom enough to walk with me during this season, because it makes that pass off easier. Because when the members see how I treat him and he treats me, he respects me, I respect him, then it settles on
You're
this.
kind of molding the members to welcome him with open arms.
Yeah.
You're going to always have members who like change, but not like change.
Exactly.
So just preparing them for this, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Stepping into the shoes of a spiritual giant like Dr. Ray, who has led New Salem for over 5 decades, is a historic moment. What do you hope to preserve as you move forward? And what fresh vision has God put in your heart for this next assignment?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
It is.
That's a loaded question. The 8th part is, number one, preserving his legacy. Not that that's my sole assignment. He has a wonderful team, Dr. Hooks, other people around him. So I'm not solely responsible for that. His children. But I'm playing an intricate part of preserving his legacy.
So you're not firing anybody? No, I'm
Well,
just joking.
well,
Dr. Ray is trying to hear that now.
Well, it's not so much about firing anybody. You know, every president, when he comes in office, he builds his own team and staff. I believe what Obama did, he took the best of what was there and then added his mix to it. And so you have the best of both worlds. It wouldn't be wise to come in and snatch the Band-Aid off of something, you know, or you'll find yourself trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. What you do is you learn patience and to take time and see what works best in the dynamic. There's some things that I would do different. And he said that when he and I were having our initial conversation, he was like, you're going to do some things different than I would. He said, but I'm going to be there to walk with you. He said, because whereas they might fight you, they're not going to fight me. And he has that wisdom. And so I was grateful for that. It's, but to answer the B clause of your question, you said, how is it to walk in the, I'm still learning that walk.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still getting the training wheels to that. Although I've worked for Dr. Ray in the past and gone off to pastor, you know, in different parts of the country, I believe the blessing of me leaving was God exposed me to things in different regions, areas. I got a chance to see so much. He was legendary and is legendary because he is a trailblazer. He's a trendsetter. Even now, people come up to me and thank me and say, man, I'm so grateful Dr. Ray is doing this. I wish other pastors would follow this model. So even now, even toward retirement, he's still blazing a trail. He's showing us in real time how this thing works biblically, a biblical model. Every Elisha has an Elijah. And when Elijah is moving, Elisha is there hoping to catch the mantle. And so my biggest, I'll say intrepidation, if I could say, but yet comfort is that every son wants the nod of his father. Every son. He's my spiritual father. He's my pastor. Like I say, I work hard not to get emotional over it because it's so humbling. It's so humbling. It's almost unbelievable when I look at his body of work and now I go places. And people know I'm that guy, I guess. So it also makes you mind your manners. You know, people are watching you. So I can't do nothing to stain the name. I have to watch how I handle people, watch how I conduct myself. Go to work and go home. That's it. That's it. Watch how I conduct myself because there's a lot riding on this, you know, and I don't want to drop the ball.
You won't. Listen, he has a lot of faith in you, and it's a God divine assignment, so you certainly won't drop the ball. As Dr. Ray prepares for his glorious road to retirement, what is your prayer for him for New Salem and the future of the ministry?
The first prayer is that he would have peace in knowing that the church is going to be all right.
Yeah.
Because pastors, the biggest thing on our hearts is, I ain't going to say worry because that sounds anti-faith, but concern about our members, concern about the sheep. That's we go to sleep at night when other folk at home and we go to bed with the vision. We wake up with it. So it's like you can't escape it. Every night I go to bed, it's Salem. When I wake up in the morning, it's Salem, you know. And so that's the biggest part is making sure that he has the comfort of knowing that he didn't make the wrong choice, you know. And he knows I'm going to make some mistakes. I don't get it all right. So he doesn't put that kind of pressure on me. I think I probably police myself more than anything. But then to answer the B clause of that, my main prayer is that he's given him such a foundation that I'm able to stand on his shoulders and run on with the next leg of the race and lead it to higher heights. You know, he grew it from its to the point where he got it to its zenith, to its peak. At the height of the ministry, thousands of members built a superstructure. No one in my generation has built anything of that magnitude. So now we have this responsibility. Bishop T.D. Jakes wrote a book called Don't Drop the Mic. And in the book, he says the challenge with his generation is not that they don't want to give up the mic. They just don't want to put it in the hands of someone who mismanage it. And so that's what I try to do. My prayers, Lord, allow me to take this mantle, this awesome responsibility. And it's not an easy walk either because I'm concerned about how he's processing all of this. This is not easy for him. This is his whole life has been around getting up serving people, you know, and he's not a golfer, you know, but he entreats me like a son, but he also entreats me like a friend. He allows me in very sacred spaces. And so when someone gives you that trust, you don't want to betray it. You want to protect it.
Dr. Ray, you want to speak to that?
No.
That was just lovely, wasn't it?
No.
Now, so Dr. Bun, when you up preaching at 10 a.m., are you going to be somewhere else preaching at 10 a.m.?
I'm gonna be at as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Okay.
I'll take 2 or 3 engagements a month, but I'm gonna have to be there for a while.
Yes. All right. Dr. Bun, is there anything I didn't ask that you want our viewers and followers to know about you and what you have in store for New Salem?
Wow. I guess lastly and finally, praying, very prayerful about what God wants to do. We're facing very, very arduous political times where the Black church cannot be silent. We're facing times where our people are in trouble. This is no longer, you don't have Big Mama around no more. Big Mama 35 now, so being able to be like the sons of Issachar, discern the times and have a plan for Israel. And that's the beauty of all this is that I want people to know that I've got a great predecessor, and the main thing he trained was us to remain biblical. So nobody has to think that the ministry going to turn and go in opposite direction. No, I'm gonna stay with the Bible, stay with what God
for sure
wants
foundation.
To do. Yes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so I've been fortunate enough to come into a great space and place behind a wonderful, amazing personality. None of us are perfect. But however, the beauty of it all is that he's given me a great head start. And now it's my turn. Joshua has to have his own Jordans to cross. Moses crossed his Red Seas. Now I got to cross some Jordans. And so he's given me the space and place to do it. The only intimidating thing that I really heard him say was we were in a conversation, and I think this was in the interview process. He said, you all are only kind of concerned about who's going to be your pastor. He said, but you have to realize is whoever we get going to be my pastor. And I sat there and I listened to that statement. I was like, wait a minute. How do you pastor the walking Bible? And so that's
how are you going to do that?
I have no idea. Stay close. Let's stay close.
Well, listen, I believe that after every sermon or every Sunday message, you're going to get some critiques, but it's going to help you be better.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's going to critique you now.
Oh, yes. Yes. He always is great about he says about if I see anything going wrong, I'm going to tell. And so I can trust that trusted voice. He won't he trusts what he trained. Again, you got to realize my scope and my lens of view has been that I followed the trajectory of Dr. Ray, and I know that I had to have my own unique personality, and I'm more demonstrative and such, and that's just who I am. He allows me the space to be that. There's not a competition. We really work well together because again, I look up to him so much, So
here's your Paul. So now you got to get you a Barnabas. You got to get you a Timothy. And have that trifecta around you.
I got Paul. Now I got Barnabas and Timothy.
Okay.
2 positions I need to fill.
Yeah. I love it. Y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And as I close out today's conversation, I want to leave you with this quote. Legacy is not measured by how long you held the position, but how faithfully you've served the people God placed in your care. Dr. Ray's story reminds us that true greatness is not just found in the pulpit, the platform, or the title. It is found in a life poured out in service, faith, and obedience. Dr. Ray, I want to thank you for joining me, talking about your ministry and the glory road to retirement. And Dr. Bun, this ain't the last. We're going to do some more stuff, and you're going to be seeing him again soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. Amanda Avery signing off.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for having me.